Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different? Why am I not convinced?
The Ishgardians have warred with the Dravanians for centuries. Nearly 1,000 years. In all that time, not once have their enemies breached their defenses and entered the city proper. Yet, regardless of how strong these magical wards may be, I nevertheless fear that the Ishgardians are underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Miss Midgard Sommer who roared, to call to arms by one of the first brood cannot be ignored. Until such time as they choose to request our aid, however, we can do naught but observe the situation at a distance and pray that our fears are unfounded. Ere I forget, I believe Moonbrida has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Ascians. Pray inform her that our business with the Ishgardians is concluded for the moment. I shall be along once I have completed my communications with the Crystal Braves. Sounds good. Let's do this. All done with your talk of dragons? Wonderful, because the Ascians are next on the menu. Let us head to the Solar, shall we?
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether. Hang on a minute! Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods? Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian's soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sawdust to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve. And I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the great river of ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Mordona.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea. I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Mordona makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals. Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Arceans will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a Scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thangred and Papalymo shall accompany you. Ida and Y'shtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moonbreeder. Scout out the crystal clusters, that the testing may commence as soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white orosite.
Thank you, Arianger. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you're able. Go well, and be safe.
Alright, Alpha, now. What you got for me? It would seem that events have once more conspired to rob us of the rest of rest and recuperation. Though I would wish it otherwise, I must ask that you head straight away to the processing plant. The Fourth have already deployed to the area and await the arrival of the Scions. Wilred will brief you on the developing situation. Meanwhile, I must rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at our headquarters in Ulda. I shall take command of our forces there with a lighter heart, knowing that you go to support the front lines. Well. Your duties take you north, take you to northern Thanalon, do they not? I do. We, too, must say our farewells to the Rising Stone for a time. Flamen travels to Ulda, and we shall serve as her escort. At my daughter's behest, I go not. I go to contact certain old acquaintances in the Gilded City. We are beset on all sides by civil unrest and imperial machinations, threatened by primals and troubled by dragons. We need all the allies we can muster. Many of my friends hold positions of power, you see, and it is my hope that they can be convinced to aid their Scion's cause. If past events have taught us anything, then we know that Eorzea must present a united front, or we shall fall. Ah, how extraordinary my little Acilia is involved. How extraordinary that my little Acilia is involved in such far-reaching affairs. I'm proud that I might stand by her side, not only as a mother, but also as a colleague. A colleague with most influential connections. But I fear that Ulda has become a place of danger, even for one so familiar with her streets. Bah! Whoop a tad the blackguard that so much as glares in your direction, milady. Swole AF! I should be well protected, it seems. Shall we be on our way, then? You see, he's the macho man, hoary boulder. Oh yeah! I love it. The idea is just so incredibly stupid. I love it. All right, let's go. Well, I guess that worked. Never thought about doing push-ups on my bed before. Commander Leveilleur sent word that you would be coming. A veteran of your talents is most welcome. Not that I don't think we can handle the situation, mind you. I've learned a trick or two since the last disaster with the Amalja. But returning to the task at hand. The Flames reconnaissance scouts have reported Imperial soldiers assembling on Raval's push. Such a force is likely interested in one thing: getting their hands on the resources found here at the processing plant. The Garleans could be marching out on us at any time. Pray speak with Lieutenant Edelstein, that we might coordinate our counter-strategy. In the meantime, I will inform the others that you arrived. No doubt it will be welcome tidings. Let's go. Edelstein! Captain Muir! My soldiers yet tell tales of your deeds during Operation Archon. Would that we could sit a while and reminisce about old times, but I fear more pressing matters require our attention. The civilian draughtsman, you see, Have come across several highly suspicious crates within the boundaries of the processing plant. I had my sappers take a closer look, and our worst fears were confirmed. These boxes contain powerful explosives, devices of Imperial design, no less. By my order, the flame station here are conducting a thorough sweep of the compound as we speak. Though, it troubles me that we were unable to apprehend the Imperial spy behind this. I have faith that our men will be able to neutralize the threat for now. In the meantime, our scouts bring troubling news on the latest movements of the Imperial Army. I would once again ask for your aid. We've been keeping a close eye on that Garlean garrison, and it would seem the Imperials have finally begun to mobilize. This guy just becomes like more and more southern, doesn't he? According to the reconnaissance report that just came in, the squads seen leaving the castrum are too few in number to effectively take and hold our position. They will most likely mount a swift assault and focus on the acquisition of resources. I have, of course, also shared this report with the Crystal Braves. They've decided to take to the field to meet the assault head-on. I have appraised your fellow scions of the situation. I am heartened to know that they will be joining the effort. Pray report to Lieutenant Alian, and lend your much welcome strength to the counteroffensive. Glad to have you with us, Fen. As I'm sure Lieutenant Edelstein explained, the Gallians have deployed a small force from Castrum Meridianum. Their main column assembles to the north near Dalamud's Talons, but we've also spied several squads attempting to conceal themselves on the approach to the west. They wish to rush forth and commit to battle within the main column, leaving the detached force to free to raid the plant and pillage supplies. Not much of a strategy, but these men are desperate. Captain Ilbert. Captain. Greetings, scions. I understand the commander bids you and your fellows come and lend a hand to the Braves. With such mighty heroes at our disposal, the Fourth should have little trouble contending with aught the Garleans might throw at them. But even you cannot be everywhere at once. The Third was getting restless, holed up and holed up, so I marched them out here to fill any holes in the plant's defenses and add their numbers to your counterattack. The reinforcements are welcome. We've enough soldiers now to divide our forces and safely engage the enemy from far beyond the walls. Aye. It would be best to avoid staging a battle anywhere near this much ceruleum. Ceruleum? Let's take this back to the Garleans. A wise course, indeed! I shudder to think the consequences should any of these storage tanks be exposed to fire. If there are no objections, the Scions shall join the Fourth and give battle to this main column. You're with the Third then, Warrior Light. Your job will be to intercept these squads hiding out in the west and prevent them from reaching the processing plant. When you're ready to proceed, report to Lady Yuhase. His scouts should have a rough idea of where the Imperials have concealed themselves by now. You got it, Captain Ilbert. You get it. A pleasure to be fighting along your side once more, Scion. Operations invariably succeed when you are around, and victories are won. Let's see, Brooklynites, they have like a T. I'll explain it later. They want to pave the road to greater coin. Now, this detached force we've been sent to eliminate has split into smaller squads. The better to conceal themselves within the terrain hereabouts, I imagine. We need to split ourselves up as well to cover more ground and make sure we root out all these would-be raiders. And seeing as how you're an army unto yourself, I've assigned you your own areas to scour clean of enemy soldiers. Ahoy. This shall be a simple search and destroy. We rendezvous back here when the task is done. Happy hunting, Sion. Also, is that Midgard something? we speak Brooklynese is he. Hello, guys. How's your health insurance? Yeah, Brooklynese and New Yorkian. You seem grim, Sire. I take it that means that between us, more than a few Gallians will be making it back to the castrum. These Imperials, though, they certainly made us earn our pay. I would be a happy man if I never have to tussle with another one of those Magitech wars. It is time we bid this war-torn land farewell. I will contact the 4th and let Lieutenant Aliane know the West is now clear. I would appreciate it if you would do the same to report to Lieutenant Adelstein. It's like this idea that a lot of the fellas have super deep voices for some. Captain Muir, what news of the Gallians? Their raiding parties are no more? Van. Excellent. The Imagina engineers will be most relieved to hear that the plant is no longer in any immediate danger. Thank you again for your assistance. You must be anxious for word from your fellows. Lieutenant Aliane has reported a sound victory over the main column and informs me that the Scions have already turned their attention to other duties. All but one, that is. The Rogadin lady with the large axe, to what appears she has chosen to remain at the site of the battle. I know not what task keeps her from returning to civilization, but Northern Danelon is no place to wander around alone. Even for a capable sort such as her. I would certainly feel better about things if you could go and check on her before you continue on your way. Oh, Moonbrita? Oh, don't worry, she's like a one-woman army by herself.
Hold on, I won't be a second. The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe. I know. As Urianger never tires of reminding me. An axe ill becometh the hand of a scholar. What can I say? I like axes. To hear my mother tell it, I came into this world holding one. And it's not as if it stopped me picking up a quill, is it? I often think of the man who introduced me to the joys of learning. He's one of the reasons I decided to come to Eorzea. Him and my excruciatingly stiff childhood friend. Considering how unalike we are, it's a wonder we ever got on. The world's a strange old place, isn't it? Aye, that ought to do it. So far, so good. At these concentrations, it shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. Just enough ether to make it interesting. Did you see that? The way the crystal glowed? The siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet, but I swear to find a way. I'll put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
He senses me. A useful talent.
An Ascian. Are they onto us?
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Sharlayan, keeper of knowledge, seeker of truth. Meddler.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well. But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath. Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales. And you have long been a thorn in my side. I suffered the overweening presence of La Habrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Oh, bugger.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense. But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light. Oh dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee. Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal is broken. Now is the time to claim the staff. With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiac's right hand.
What did that bastard want with us? Nabriales, he calls himself. With charm like that, I'll bet he has maidens falling at his feet. Unconscious. But this staff... You say just talking about it had the bastard grinning like a brat on his name day. Must be quite a staff. Oh, gods. He means Tupsimati, Master Louis Soir's staff. Minfilia's in danger. We have to get back to the Rising Stones.